It's K-Swan with Road Rash Off-Road, and I'm super excited to have you guys join me on this episode of Overland Overhaul. Today, we're going to talk about something super cool. It is our brand new 270-degree awning by Naturnest, and this thing is sick. In this video, we're going to unbox this 270-degree awning. We're going to install it on the Jeep, and then I'm going to give you some details about this particular awning, why we chose this awning, and what we love so much about this awning. And then I'm going to give you a little tutorial on how to set it up and break it down. So let's go back to the Road Rash office, get this thing unboxed, and get ready to install it. Let's go. So we're back here at the Road Rash Garage, and I'm super excited about this install today. This is our very first 270-degree awning by Naturnest. We're going to unbox this, kind of see what comes on the inside, and then we're going to throw it on the Jeep. So in taking a look at the box, looks like everything is just as it should be, except for this. Now, this is obviously not a Naturnest issue. I think this is probably a shipping issue, but the shipping company completely just destroyed this corner of the box. And upon kind of looking at the product, this part right here looks like it's bent. I don't think that's going to be an issue. Right there, you can see. If not, I could probably just bend it back, but it looks like somebody just drug this thing across the ground and just ripped the box completely open. Let's get this box open, and we're gonna need Bebe. Bebe is my bayonet my father gave me, and just kind of hangs out with me everywhere I go. So inside the box, I didn't know that was going to fall out. Okay. Like I said, so inside the box, we've got our main awning here. Little bit of directions, very little bit of directions. This seems to be a super easy install. So in the things that kind of just fell out, we've got our two brackets here. This is what's going to attach to our Rhino Rack backbone system here. And so in this bag, I assume is going to be all of our hardware. Just dropping stuff everywhere. So you've got your stakes for the ground. You've got two USB wires here. I do think that this awning comes with an LED light on the inside, so I assume that that's what that is going to be for. You've got your U-bolts here for attaching our brackets. So it looks like this is going to be your canopy rope to be able to tie it down with our stakes in case of high winds. All of our nuts and bolts here to be able to attach the awning to the rack. Straps here, I assume this is probably going to be for tightening the rack to the front and the back of the Jeep. These are going to be our brackets for our U-bolts here. And that's it. While this seems like not a whole lot of parts that goes into installing this because it's all kind of self-contained in here, I'm very hesitant to say this is going to be an easy install. I have done a lot of research on the installation of this and other 270 awnings on Jeep and Rhino racks, and I have not found not one video in which they didn't have to customize or fabricate something. I want to take some weights on this first and just see how much this thing weighs before we throw it on top of the Jeep. So it looks like this is weighing right at 61.9 pounds. So they always say we should learn from other people's mistakes, right? So in my research of installing this Naturnest, I came across a channel, Barry with Fire and Ice Outdoor Gear on YouTube. Barry has the same one and he was installing it on his Jeep and he kind of jumped the gun, right? And just decided he wanted to put it on the driver's side. And come to find out after he installed it, it was very side specific and it was supposed to be on the passenger side. And he had already done a bunch of work in customizing it. So I'm gonna learn from Barry's mistakes. Thank you, Barry. And I'm gonna open this thing up just to see which side of the Jeep this is supposed to go on. I specifically asked for a driver's side, but before I actually install it on the driver's side, I'm gonna open it up and just see which side it's supposed to go on. I've got my logo here, which means this is probably gonna be the top of the Jeep. My zipper's down here. So we're gonna where's my zipper? Other side. Actually, it's right here in the middle. We're just gonna unzip this real quick. Wow, that's some nice quality zippers. Some thick YKK, that zips pretty easy. Yeah, there's not even any tension at all with those zippers. That's nice. Okay, so we've got our hinges here, which would mean this would be wrapping around the back of the Jeep. So this would be driver's side. So let's move out to the garage. We'll pull the road rash Jeep out and see if we can go ahead and install this out in the driveway. Let's go. Okay, so obstacle number one, I was gonna try and attempt to slide this thing on the roof rack without removing my rooftop tent. Not gonna happen. So this bracket is gonna have to go where this leg is, and it's gonna have to go kind of deep in, and you can see already, we're gonna have to get way under here, and it's gonna have to bolt onto the rails here, and then possibly even the U-bolt on this bracket that goes this way. So we're gonna have to probably just unbolt this thing, move it, and then bolt this down and then move it back. All right, so without removing the entire top itself, I just undid one side of the bracket, let it hang, and I'm gonna see if I can lift up this side just high enough where I can get those brackets underneath it with a wrench. All right, so this is awesome. Just shove some 2x4s underneath there. I've got, I think, plenty of room to work in here. Let's see if we can get these brackets onto this Rhino rack. So regarding the brackets, the directions don't say whether or not the two pieces go up or the solid piece goes up. The picture actually shows a different bracket, but I'm assuming the solid piece is probably going to want to go up. You probably want the wider stance on the bottom. And I think with this, the way that this bend is right here, I think if it was turned this way, this is kind of a weak point, right? This bend, so it would be more apt to kind of bend in. This point right here, I think you've got a lot more substantial real estate up here on the top. So I'm going to install them this way, If you guys think that I installed them wrong, leave that in the comment down below. I'd love to know. My guess is as good as yours right now. So let's just see how it goes. So far, this is going relatively easy. They do include these little, whatever these things are called, for the rhino racks, which just slide down in here. And we'll move it over to the spot that we need. And then that's how we can attach our rack here. Just gonna add our washers on here. Put our nuts on. Now these take a 13 millimeter. And one of the things they want you to make sure of is that if you do have a rooftop tent, particularly one that kind of folds one way or the other, make sure you position this in a way that you leave room for that tent to open up. Mine lifts straight up, so I don't lean one side or the other. Well, I'll tell you, that was relatively easy with the little T-bolts that go into my tracks here. The only concern I have is this screw that's kind of sticking up, but if you look at my rooftop tent, it actually raises up right here, so I think I'm actually going to have enough room for that screw just to kind of sit in that little pocket right there. Okay, so I spoke a little too soon. In measuring my rooftop tent here, it looks like this metal piece comes down just a little bit over 3/4 is where the bottom of this is going to sit. If I look at my bolts here, it sticks up right at 1 inch. So it's going to end up hitting and likely puncturing the bottom of the tent. So I'm gonna have to find like maybe a hacksaw or something that maybe I can cut a little bit of the top of that screw off, just to keep it from hurting my tent. All right, so we got our brackets installed here. I just called my son to come down and give me a hand because it's a little bit heavy for me to try to lift this and screw it in at the same time. So this is kind of a two-person job here. That up and I'll just rest it on top of the door. Comparatively to other awning videos that I've seen online, I have had zero issues with the installation on this one, other than maybe that one little screw sticking up a little bit too far. This thing has gone on so easy. Let's get this thing bolted down. We have to reset our rooftop tent, and then we can pop it open and see what it looks like. Yes! Well, I thought I had everything calculated out, but once the weight of this gets on here, it kind of bends down a little bit, and now the distance between my rack and my screw can't get my nut on there. It just won't fit in that little space right there. So I'm gonna have to loosen these up just slightly and push this out a little bit. And that was it. A super easy install of the Naturnest 270 awning. All I gotta do now, pull my rooftop tent down, refasten it, and then we can probably test it. However, it's probably gonna have to be tomorrow. If you can tell, it's starting to rain. We're probably gonna have to pack it up for today, and then I'll be able to open it up and test it tomorrow. But let's at least get the tent back down. So we spent all day yesterday installing this 270-degree awning by Naturnest. It was a super easy install. I didn't have any complications other than maybe shaving down that one screw. But I'm super excited to now, for the first time, unzip this thing and see how easy it is to set it up on the trail. Let's get this thing open. So I just want to go over some of the details on just the wrapping and the cover before we open it. So you can see how I installed it, and it sits just perfectly off of the side of the Jeep. I was able to grab a little room right there to put that nut on, so that is on super tight. Now with the construction of this is a great thick material. These zippers, as I mentioned before, are like super quality. Like, look how easy it is to pull that. Oh, that is so satisfying that you don't have to fight with these zippers. Let's get this thing open. So once we have it unzipped, we're just gonna tuck this up and behind the actual and that's going to keep it from getting pinched when we open this thing up. Now we've got 3 Velcro straps here that are holding everything tight. So we're just going to pull these, and then that's going to start to drop our awning. And so once you unstrap these, this is just going to fall down into place. We're going to take our backside, this is our backside here, swing it all the way around. And that should allow us room to open up the front side. Now with our straps, we can take our straps and now tie them to the front. We can start pulling things taut. Now if you remember, in our bag we had these 2 pull straps here with these little S hooks on them. We're just going to take one of these and we're just going to slide it into our little clamp area here. Now that's going to give us the necessary tension that we need to be able to bring this taut to the front of the Jeep. Let's find a place to hook this. Now if your Jeep is like mine, you probably have accessories all over it, so there's probably not a shortage of places to hook this thing onto. We've got a steel bumper here by Go Rhino, all these little access points. Let's just find a place that we can clip this on and then we can pull it taut. So once you have it pulled taut, just grab your sides, you can pull it over, protect our front. Then we're going to grab our other strap. We're going to go around the back side and do the same thing on the back side of it. And now let's find a place that we can clip this on. It's not really going to intrude in any of our space here. So we're going to bring this around. And maybe we can keep it kind of high, clip it onto our roof rack up here. And now we got this clipped on, we can just pull, and we can bring our backside all the way in to the Jeep. Let's take a look at this thing. So you'll notice in the middle, you got these great hooks right here, and this is to anchor down the top once the wind starts blowing. If you want to hook that and bring a line all the way down, you can stake it into the ground. That'll give it some extra support if you're going to be staying in a space for long. Now also want to notice there's this great Velcro strip that's around the inside here, and that is to be able to put up some walls. You can Velcro the walls on here all the way around and enclose this entire area. That is super, super cool. Eventually, I may put that. Right now, I'm not, that's not number one on my list, but I may eventually put that up there. It seems like a really good idea. Now, one of the big things I love about this 270 awning compared to other awnings, when you look at the back here, where it comes around the back, you can see it almost makes a complete 90-degree angle on the back of the Jeep. In fact, it does. If you pull this taut, and this is pretty taut, this will create an exact 90-degree angle. Some of them, if you've seen them, don't completely do a 90-degree angle. This will have like a gap here, and then this will be like really tight here. It just doesn't go, it's probably like an 87-degree or 86-degree. This is a complete 90-degree wraparound on your Jeep, and that is fantastic. Now this thing is giant. If you can see the amount of coverage that I have around the Jeep now, it is massive. You also notice it is freestanding. So today there's no wind. I feel pretty comfortable about just leaving it just like this. However, there are legs, and I'll show you how they work in case we start to get some wind. There's legs, you can tell, they're strapped up to each one of these poles with this Velcro here. If I pull this Velcro, the leg, and what you do is you just turn the leg, put it down, maybe push up a little bit, and then turn it back to lock it into place. And then now, this thing has amazing support. I'm not gonna hang on it, but it's got great support. In addition, you have legs on each one of these poles. You've got a leg here, you've got a leg here, you've got a leg here in the front, and then one in the back on the other side. And there you go. Like I said, it's not required that you put the poles down or even the straps. If you're going to be stationary in one location for a little bit of time, maybe you want to do that just for safety and security, but this thing is freestanding and you don't need the legs. Now this gives me a lot of space that I can still work in the back of my Jeep here, which is actually why I chose to do a driver's side awning, because when you open up a Jeep door, the door opens this way, which makes really all of this space on the back side of the Jeep dead space. So this is where I do other things, like this is where the ladder to my rooftop tent goes on this side. I've got a hot shower that would take on this side, kind of private. If everybody's hanging out over here, hot shower over there. It's a little bit private. It also allows you the ability to access this space while you're on the trail. Now you've got your cooktop here, you've got your table here, you've got your refrigerator and all of your kitchen stuff here. This is where the cooking kitchen stuff happens. And then over on this side of the Jeep is where all the hangout happens, where everybody sits, they hang out, they enjoy the awning, they enjoy the fire, all on this side of the Jeep. This side of the Jeep is the private side of the Jeep where showers happen, the stairs go up, the ladder goes up to the top of the tent. So it's very intentional about setting this up. Okay, so if I look at the main hinge right here, there's 3 red buttons here. These are on and off buttons for our LED lights. And then right next to them, there's these little caps, rubber caps to protect all of the inputs. And then that is where our 3 will go. We'll go 1 into here, 1 into here, 1 into here. Now the other side gets a USB input, and we're going to plug that into our power bank. Eventually, we're probably going to get an isolated standalone power bank just for lighting. Maybe one of those little battery packs about this big, and we'll kind of stick it up here and plug these in. But right now, let's just plug it into our Generac and see if we can get some power. Now for the single one, it's going to be just the same as the 3 over here at the main connector. You've got this standalone 1-arm lighting kit, 3 on that arm, 1 on this one. So this is where your single is going to go into the same thing. We'll pull down a rubber piece, plug that in, and then now we can plug our 2 USBs into our Generac power bank. See if we can light it up. So we got 23%, more than enough power. This thing is 2,000 watts. More than enough power to run some LED lights. Now that we got these plugged in, we'll just turn the on button, see if we got some light. They all work independently, which is super cool. In case you don't want all of the lights on at the same time, you can turn them on and off as needed. So the last thing I want to show you is this little feature right here. In case it is raining and we're afraid of puddling some water up top, we can slide this over, which exposes this little foot right here. So once we have this foot exposed, we can pop this up, and then now this creates a roll-off point. This becomes the highest point of the awning, which rolls the water down and off of the awning. And we have these on each one of the main legs. We'll pop this up. The fabric is doubled right here to protect it from poking through or give it some more strength. Now, Naturnest is relatively new to the off-road and overlanding market, but they are producing some amazing products. Anything from 270 awnings to rooftop tents. If you guys haven't seen my previous video of my very first Naturnest rooftop tent, click this link right up here. You'll be able to see a whole walkthrough on that video. Their customer service is on point. Anytime that I've had questions or even comments, they have responded back within less than 12 hours. They ship right out of here, right out of the United States. In fact, I think they ship a lot of their products from Georgia. You guys, if you're interested in the same exact 270 awning that I have, look down in the description. I'm going to post a link to this same exact awning, and you guys can now own this yourself. Like and subscribe to Road Rash Off-Road so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos and our overlanding videos. And go back and watch any of our previous Overland Overhaul videos where we installed our Rhino Rack backbone platform system, our rooftop tent by Naturnest, set power refrigerator that we've added to the kitchen, our hot water shower that we've added to the rig from Camp Lux, and then also our Generac GB2000 power bank system that we use to power this entire rig. Go back, watch those videos, like and subscribe to Road Rash Off-Road. See you on the trails. Peace!